first off, my name's Bob, or that's Bill, he's going to help me. If you have cameras, as these folks do, you are more than welcome to take photos. There's no restrictions at all. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, or Bill doesn't know the answer, we'll make them up. You guys will know the difference. Okay? Just a couple of housekeeping tidbits. When we do get down to the field level, we are not allowed on the grass. We have to stay on the warning track. I will remind you about that when we get down there. Also, when we just came out of the batting cages, Michael Brantley and Francisco Lindor were in there hitting. If they're hitting, still when we go in there, or if anybody's hitting, we're not allowed to ask for autographs. They're working. If you can quietly take a picture without a flash, that'd be okay. And there's a walkway between the cage they're in and another cage. You want to stay close to the other cage, because if the ball hits that netting, flies 2 to 3 feet, you're going to get whacked right in the face. So we don't want that to happen. But who knows, by the time we get down, we're going to be done. Michael's been in there for over an hour and a half already. So we'll just see how that happens. Now, are you a ball player? Yeah? How about you? Okay. There's a couple other little ones. I see a ball glove back there. Hey, you little guys, how many of you play baseball? There's one. Play ball? No? You do? Okay, you guys that play, guys or girls, when you play baseball, do you play player pitch to player? Or do you play coach pitch? Or do you play t-ball? Anybody play t-ball? You do? Good. You don't? Why not? Too old for t-ball? Too big for t-ball? Too good for t-ball? Yeah. All right. Needless to say, there's a method to my madness. Now, what brings you all to Cleveland? When we say Texas and Mississippi,
Mexico.
Where?
Mexico.
Mexico. Good. I think we can head down now, Bill. All right, we are down here in the lower concourse, and for me, this is the cool part of the ballpark, because this is where everything happens except the game itself. Last night we had a sellout. So there were probably between 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, close to 2,000 people reporting for work down here to put the game on. All the ushers, vendors, ticket takers, housekeeping, maintenance, security people. It's very, very busy. In this part of the ballpark, kind of right on the other side of this double wall that's here, we have the concession area where all the beverages are stored and all the hot dogs and the cotton candy and the popcorn. You'll smell the popcorn candy a little bit probably. We also have a way to get to the groundskeeper's headquarters under the bleachers, underground parking garage, which is connected to the arena next door. We also have security, loading docks, and we even have an underground jail down here. So if you're misbehaving, guys, we can stick you here until Cleveland Police take you downtown. Okay. Down at the other end, we have batting cages, weight training center, Indians clubhouse, visiting clubhouse, big press interview room, little press interview room, headquarters for all the souvenirs, the caps, the t-shirts, the jackets. We have the headquarters for all that housekeeping, maintenance, electrical, players entrance. We have a family waiting area where we have a babysitting service for the player's family. And that room's equipped like no kindergarten or preschool you've ever seen. I mean, it's amazing what we have. Now, as I said, this can be very busy. So if you hear engines revving up or horns honking, hug a sidewall. We're only going diagonally across, but still they come through here all the time, moving all the stuff to the various concession stands at the ballpark especially. Okay? That's something special.
There's nobody in.
Yeah. Oh, nobody's hitting now? Okay. All right, follow me, please. This door will not stay open yet.
Oh, that's fine.
Check out all the cable. If you take all the wiring and the cable in the ballpark, splice it end to end, it will stretch over 30,000 miles. Now that was 16 years ago when I started here. I'm sure there's a ton more than that now. Okay, where's my little buddy here that said he was too old and too big and too good for T-ball? That's him right there? Do me a favor, look in all the cages. What do you see?
Some tees. Some tees.
Batting tees?
Yes.
We see more tee work than anything. You guys can kind of fill in this space here a little bit better. Michael Brantley and Francisco Lindor were in here for almost an hour and a half, just tee work. The great majority of work they do in here is tee work. Bill and I have been doing this since May this year, and we see Michael Brantley in here all the time, and it's always tee work. Tee work, tee work, tee work. We've seen him in here at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning when he's played a Friday night game and a Saturday night game. We've seen him on a day off at 7 o'clock at night come in here and hit. It's amazing how much tee work they do. The two cages on this side have pitcher's mounds, regulation height and distance, just like out on the field. Same dirt that's out on the field. And just like out on the field, they're covered up with tarps right now. We also have some specialized pitching machines. Now, is there anybody in here in there playing baseball, this could go to adults as well, that has hit against a pitching machine? Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing something in the order of a jugs or an ATEC machine, the wheels?
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. Coach has it set up for fastballs. So now you want to work on breaking pitches. Coach has to go behind, adjust the speed of the wheels. Once it gets to the speed, adjust the angle of the wheels, and then run about 8 to 12 sample pitches to make sure it's going to throw in the strike zone, right?
Sounds right.
Okay. Well, this first machine, this first cage, has a white screen back there with a hole in it. The pitching machine is behind there. On the floor, that green box is a movie projector. What they'll do is project the image of a generic pitcher going through his windup. When his hand reaches the release point, the ball comes out of that hole. So it's as though you're batting up against a real person. It's better yet. Through the magic of this touch screen, we can control that generic pitcher to somewhat resemble who we're going up against that night. Tall, short, righty, lefty, wind up, or stretch. It's better yet. This gentleman wants to show off. He wants to hit a major league fastball. So I'll hit MLFB. You're going to see 90-mile-an-hour fastball coming in. This gentleman wants to see what it's like to hit a major league curveball. So I'll change it. MLCB. You're going to see an 80-mile-an-hour curveball. And this fellow in the back, Mr. Louisiana there, he wants to show you all up. He doesn't want to know what's coming. He wants to bat up against the sequence. So I can set it up. It's going to throw you fastball, curveball, changeup, slider in whatever order the computer wants. Nobody has to go in the back and adjust the machine after every change. It's really something to see. Now, on the other side of that last cage, you'll see a door, silver bottom. That's the entrance to the Indians Weight Training Center. On the other side of that is the trainer's room with a Swimex-style swimming pool. Trainer's room, locker room with about 53 lockers. There's a cafeteria. There's videography study rooms, offices, manager's office / locker room, coach's office / locker room. The whole complex takes up 17,000 square feet, and it's open to any Indians player in the system, from the rookie leagues to the majors, 365 days a year. I'm not saying it's ever happened, but theoretically, Michael Brantley could be in Cleveland on business or visiting family, call up and say, I just want to get away for a little bit and hit. So can I come in for an hour? There'd be somebody here to make sure it's opened up for him. Okay. Another advantage, the door we're going to walk through down some steps, up some more steps. We're going to be in the dugout. 10 seconds. So that means during the ball game, the designated hitter or a pinch hitter can leave the dugout, come up here, work on their swings, keep track of the game on the 6 TVs that are in here, 5 or 6 TVs, and get back downstairs in time for their next at bat. The question that is asked of us frequently is, what about the visitors? Well, up until 2 years ago, the visitors could use this cage during the day with permission. Their coach calls our coach and says, hey, can I send so-and-so and so-and-so down to hit? Yeah, between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, whatever it might be. But during the game, no. They can't come through our dugout. And to come by way of the concourse is logistically impossible. By the time they get here, it'd be time to go back. 2 years ago, we opened up a single visiting cage under the right field corner, so they can use that. Okay? So they don't use this one anymore. Right? Okay, again, tall people, watch your heads. Still a little overhang, low overhang in the stairway. Be careful walking down the steps, and we're going to come up in the dugout. Okay, this is the Cleveland Indians dugout. So especially little kids, what we in school groups like the one that just left before you came on, we like to tell the kids, look around where you're sitting, kind of get yourself a landmark, and then when next time you watch the game on TV, try and figure out which Cleveland Indian's sitting in your seat. Since none of you are from Cleveland, you probably never experienced what we have up here called lake effect.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you have, you're from the area originally, but for those of you that don't know what lake effect is, I live about 15 miles, 13 to 15 miles south of the city, and especially in the spring, it can be about 65, 70 degrees. Come down here to the ball game and it's 45 to 50 degrees. So a lot of times you're trying to guess what the weather's like, and even though they say it after every weather forecast, the last 4 words are cooler by the lake, you come up there and you're sitting there freezing, wishing you brought an extra sweatshirt. But the players are nice and toasty because they have overhead heaters in here. Now, if you look behind the 2 young ladies standing over there, there's a couple of TV sets. Those are not there so the players can keep up to date with who's playing Dancing with the Stars or SpongeBob SquarePants. It's so our coaching staff knows who's warming up in the bullpens. You can't see into the bullpens from here. So the one is labeled visitors, the one on the right is home. And the other team has the same technology in their locker, or their dugout. There are also 3 telephones in here. Now that's, not a big deal. The black phone on the side of the helmet rack is simply a house phone. If they need more towels, they can call back to the clubhouse and say, we need some towels up here, or get the trainer up here right away, or call back and say, hey, how's so-and-so? Is he going to be all right, or do we have to put him on the disabled list? Or they could call up to the press box and say, we took Joe Schmo out of the game because he rolled his ankle. The tan phone, and would you pick up the tan phone and listen for me?
First phone, there you go.
Yeah. Is it ringing? Okay, that's the bullpen phone. Notice you didn't even have to dial. Just, you can hang it up now. It's just ringing out there. You may have even heard it from here. Sometimes you can.
Was that nice thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the red phone is brand new as of about 3 years ago. It's the replay phone. If you don't understand how this works, each team has a video coach back in their clubhouse watching the game on TV. So if there's a close play, the coaching staff can call back and say, hey, what do you think? What's the replay show? Or the replay coach could call up and say, hey, the umpire definitely missed that call. Challenge it. So when that red phone rings, the light lights up. The coach will answer it. He'll relay the message to the manager. If the manager wants to challenge it, he'll go over to the umpire and say, we want to challenge replay. Then the umpires go behind home plate on the track where a fella comes out bringing 2 sets of headphones, and that puts him in touch with New York. Now for you young ball players, think about this one. When this ballpark opened up, the fence behind Bill and I wasn't here. It was just 4 wide open steps. So think about it. You're here, you're waiting to get in the ball game, and all of a sudden, the batter hits a line shot foul ball right in at you. Or the batter accidentally lets go of the bat and it comes flying in here. Or you're the third baseman for the Cleveland Indians coming over to catch a pop-up here. What's going to happen there? Not much, because there's going to be 4 guys standing like this ready to catch him. But if it's a third baseman for the Yankees, can we help you up? You know, they're just going to let him fall. Okay? So we put that screen up in 2006, and then these came after Terry Francona's first year here as manager. These were his idea, which now puts you right up in harm's way again. Okay, important information now. We're going to walk on this warning track behind home plate. We are not allowed to walk on the grass. We're not allowed to reach down and touch the grass. We're not allowed to smell the grass. We're not allowed to have bad thoughts about the grass. Okay? So come on behind home plate with me. And again, stay on the warning track.
Okay, guys. Follow Bob behind home plate.
You know who that is? The one on the left is Carlos Carrasco. Pretty cool job when you get to see the guys up close. Huh?
in this.
And stay on, don't.
Okay, hey guys, how do you like this track you're walking on?
Yes.
You know what it's made out of?
Tires.
Car and truck tires. Very good. You've been on a tour before. You know what? This is so cool. It's poured over 2 layers of asphalt and drainage rock. This will drain 23 inches of rainwater in an hour. Water just goes right through it. Now that grass behind me is real. It's a special blend of 4 types of Kentucky bluegrass. It's grown just for this part. It's also grown in sand to make cutting out bad parts real easy. Underneath that is the drainage material. The field will drain 12 inches of rainwater in an hour. I'm assuming you have a home with a lawn. How often do you cut your grass?
Once a week.
Once a week if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
Okay, these guys cut the grass every day when the team is in town, every other day when they're out of town, and they fertilize it just like you do every 10 days. And we have 59 sprinkler heads out there that are computer controlled and will shoot out 14 gallons of water per minute. And believe you me, you do not want to be standing when one of those goes off. It's like getting hit by a water can. Okay? Any questions for me while we're out here? All right, we have 1 minute to get off the field in case they start early BP. We are going to go down these steps here. It's a low door. I have to duck. It's steel and concrete. You don't want to hit your head. And before we do, take a quick peek at these seats behind you on the below ground level. I'll talk about them when we get downstairs. Okay? Be careful on the steps and at the bottom, and I'll tell you what we saw and what we're going to see. Okay, did you notice those seats outside I told you to take a look at? They're called dugout suites. That's the outer part of the suite. We have 10 of these dugout suites, and the only other ballpark that has them is the Los Angeles Angels or the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles or California, whatever name you want to give them. They've changed it so many times. But they seat 12 people. They have an inside party room, which is really nothing to write home about because there's no windows, unlike the suites upstairs, which are really bright and just really nice. These have all the extras. It's just kind of dull in there. But if you're standing in an outside area by the screen, you're closer to home plate than the pitcher is by 1.5 feet. Now, when the ballpark was being planned, if you wanted one of these suites, remember they're for 12 people, you had to agree to a 10-year lease at $100,000 a year, payable up front. So the term $1 million suites is very appropriate. Then when you multiply that by 10, that means there was $10 million generated just from this corridor to help pay the $169 million it cost to build the park. There might be one or two open as we walk by. You can take a peek in. Oh, there you can peek into that one as you walk by. You've already passed 8 pictures, but I want to point out a couple on this one. Stanley Kovaleski won 3 games for the Indians in the 1920 World Series. Shoeless Joe Jackson, if you've watched 8 Men Out or Field of Dreams. Shoeless Joe played for Cleveland before he was with the White Sox and got banned from baseball. Last Indian to hit 400, hit 408 in 1911. Career batting average of like 375. Highest career for the Indians, 3rd highest of all time. Cy Young. The Cy Young Award is named after. Cy Young played for 2 of our teams. He played the Cleveland Spiders in the 1890s, and then he became an Indian at the end of his career. At that time, he would have been the Naps. And Louis Sockalexis, who was the basis for the name Indians. Sockalexis was a full-blooded Penobscot Indian from Old Town, Maine. He was a very, very good player, and in the 1890s he played for the Cleveland Spiders. Again, that was not the present organization. They were a team in the National League. But he didn't last long. He had some off-field issues and some injuries. Back then, the newspapers weren't politically correct, and there might be an article that would say, yesterday, the Big Indian helped beat Boston. Come on out to League Park tomorrow and see the Big Indian and his teammates go up against Chicago. All right, jump ahead. 1901, our present organization is established as a charter member of the American League. That first year we were called the Cleveland Blues, and the players didn't like it. They thought it was not a very macho name. Blue caps, blue jerseys, blue pants, blue socks. So the second year we became known as the Broncos. That's more masculine, more macho, right? Then we acquired Napoleon Lajoie, whose picture we passed down the way. Future Hall of Famer. He's our second baseman and manager, playing manager. So to honor him, we were called the Cleveland Naps until 1913 when he left the team. Couldn't be named after a guy that's not with us anymore. So we became for a year and a half the Molly Maguires. That name didn't last. You're laughing. Molly Maguires, funny name, right? Well, they are actually terrorists. The Molly Maguires were Irish immigrants that were using sabotage and murder to fight the mine owners in western Pennsylvania. Well, in 1915, we said, we need a better name then. So the ownership went to the old sports writers and said, what do you guys think would be a good name? Remember back in the 90s, we had that Big Indian play for us? Why not call them the Indians? That's how it came about. Excuse me.
Now we're walking.
You guys get to see everybody today. Although you missed Linda and Brantley. You saw 3/5 of the pitching staff. Well, Salazar's on the DL, so. So what position do you play?
Gotcha.
Catcher?
Ooh.
How about you?
Catcher and third.
Catcher and third. I never get catchers. This is the first tour I've ever given in 16 years. I had catchers on it. And I get 2 at one time. You don't play. How about you?
Pitcher.
Pitcher, okay. What's your best pitch? Fastball?
We only have a couple, so yeah, probably fastball.
Just go to that big C out there, okay? On the carpeting. This goes for all of you. Normally I do this for the school groups, but I like to give a quiz. I'm a retired school teacher. So, 3 questions. All you have to do is raise your hand. How many of you like baseball? Okay. Second question, how many of you like to eat? Third question, how many of you like to eat while watching baseball? Okay, that's the place for you. That's called the club. We have a section of seats out in the bowl. Called club seats. They're a little wider, a little extra legroom. But the real nice feature is, if you have seats in the club seats, you can go back to that restaurant where all your food and all your soft drinks are included in the cost of your game ticket. There's about 20 TVs, so if you fill up your plate and you're worried about missing the action, you can watch it on TV. The food varies. You've got the usual hot dogs, burgers, and fries. Plus, there's usually some type of a buffet with a little bit more upscale food. Out on the concourse behind the seats, you can't see it from here, there's pizza, Pierre's ice cream, nachos, big barrels of peanuts that you just help yourself to. Now for you adults, if you want something a little stronger than Pepsi or iced tea, you can go to the home plate shaped bar and purchase that. So it's a nice deal. Bill goes there at least once a year, sometimes twice. Behind me though is the place, once you go in, you're never going to want to watch a baseball game again from any other place. This is about 4 years old. It's called the Infinity Club. We took out the walls of 10 luxury suites and put in this really high-end area, upscale. We sell 100 season tickets for there, and those tickets have been sold out since day one. The food is very upscale. For example, tonight, it looks like at the chef's table, barbecue smoked brisket with chipotle barbecue, pork spare ribs, grilled corn on the cob, macaroni and cheese. Then you got your usual hot dog fare. I've seen almond crusted walleye there, clam bake, prime rib, upscale adult beverage as well. That is all included in the cost. But you have to buy the full season ticket. There's also balcony seats out there, which are as close to sitting in a lazy boy recliner as you can get without being a lazy boy. Service is out of this world. It's really a fantastic place. Like I said, they sell 100, but they also have a reserve of 20 tickets so that if a guest wants to bring a guest in, they can apply, do you have extra tickets for whatever night game is coming up. And if they do, then you have to pay a few pennies more. And then you can bring that guest in. I was lucky. I got in there the first year. And it's fantastic. Believe me, fantastic. Okay, any questions about the 2 restaurants? All right. They moved. They used to be the very first one down close to the restaurant. As you can see, it's a pretty nice layout in here. You got a nice view of the field. There is some memorabilia, Omar Vizquel jersey, and over here we have Tony. So one of the perks of being in here too is we have an alumni program where usually every weekend during the season we bring in 2 players from the past, and they make stops throughout the ballpark at different suites or places like this, and they'll sign autographs, pose for pictures with the group. Like I had last year, I brought in, or I shouldn't say brought in, but I was escorting Gary Bell and Chad O.J. in here and stood around watching them sign autographs and sample food and all that kind of stuff. Bill, why don't we try for the new suites? Since we can't get the press box. Yeah. Follow me, I'm going to show you one of our brand new remodeled
We're going to look at
suites.
something that most people don't get a chance to see. They spent a lot of money and revamped 11 suites.
is how the other half lives. Again, when the ballpark opened up in 1994, we had 130 luxury suites and about 42,000 seats. Well, over the years, we've eliminated many of the suites and combined them, so we're now down to 73 luxury suites and 35,000 seats in the park. This one was just remodeled over the winter. Look at the amenities you have in here. The big flat screen TV, counters with built-in warmers. You've got seats out in the balcony, your own private restroom, clothes closet, storage area, refrigerator. There's probably an ice machine over there as well.
Yes, sir.
I said balcony seating. But another nice factor is if you've got a really big group like you're a corporation, what we did was we put sliding doors so you can rent this out as just one room, or maybe use both of them next door, or take it all the way down to the end where there's 7 of these big suites. So you can have a small group of probably 20 in here, or 7 times 20 is what, 140 or 150 total, depending. And I've noticed recently, every time I look, it seems like these are being used. So,
Well, it's a real nice upgrade, it really is.
when Bill and I first came in here in the spring to be shown this, we were like amazed because compared to what it used to be in here. And what used to be was really nice, but they were the original ones built back in the 90s. Now, what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about the field from here. And I'm going to start with the left field wall. For those of you that are not familiar with our ballpark or haven't been here before, we copied the idea of that left field wall off of the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox have a left field wall called the Big Green Monster because it's 37 feet high. And we said, we like that idea, but it's too much for us. So we built our wall 19 feet high and called it the Mini Monster. Another thing you might notice, all the seats are hunter green. That's considered the most pleasing to the eye. We also designed our bleachers after Wrigley Field, where that team from Chicago plays. We don't mention their name anymore. But there are about 2,753 bench seats out there with a back, so they're reasonably comfortable. And then above that is our scoreboard, brand new. Last year, it is the largest in the majors, 59 feet high, 221 feet across, and it's made up of 10.6 million LEDs. To give you an example of what that means, the brightness of that scoreboard screen is 15 times brighter than your smartphones that many of you are holding, 7.5 times brighter than your high-def TV you've got sitting at home. Now, if you're here for the ball game tonight or plan on being here in the near future, and you are a baseball fan, I highly suggest you go into center field where the trees and shrubs are. It's called Heritage Park. It is open before the games and during the games. It is the home of our Hall of Fame. And I think it's fantastic. When it first opened up, Bill and I worked out there during the games. It houses plaques honoring members of the Indians Hall of Fame that are also in the National Hall of Fame. Plaques just honoring Indians Hall of Famers. 38 most memorable moments in Indians history, the top 100 Indians of all time, and plus some specialty plaques as well. So if you're a baseball fan, I highly suggest you visit that. The right field corner was part of a 2-year renovation plan. That was the first step that started 2 years ago. We eliminated approximately 7,000 seats out there, moved the bullpen so that they're parallel to the field, with the visitors' bullpen farther back and the Indians' home bullpen closer to that key bank sign. We took down a bunch of stuff in the center field area, including the wall and the pedestrian bridge, and opened that up to look out into the city. And we brought in restaurants. They're hard to see, but they're under the mezzanine section of stands in right field, 5 different Cleveland neighborhoods. And it's not ballpark fare, but these are restaurants that serve portions of their actual menus, and they're very popular restaurants in the Cleveland area. The club seats I was telling you about, where you get to go to that club lounge are along the first base line, that middle section stands that juts out over the lower deck. Right next to them and below us, you'll see what looks like a mini press box, long windows with green facing. That's the control booth that controls all the lights, the scoreboards, the music that's played when the players come up to bat. And then right next to us is the press box. We have also 8 individual broadcast booths for home TV and home radio. So, any questions for me about the field, the stands?
Nothing?
No questions?
Okay.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our last stop. Hope you enjoyed yourselves on the tour. Before I take you downstairs, I do want to thank you for coming today and spending money on those tour tickets, because the proceeds go to the Cleveland Indians Charities, which was established in 1989. And over those years, they've spent several $1 million on local youth groups for their baseball and softball programs. The Cleveland Public Schools could not field teams in their high school league without it. Also, the Cleveland Boys and Girls Club and the Cleveland Baseball Federation's RBI program. So thank you very much. You did something nice for us today. Let's head down. One more elevator ride.
How many tours a day do you do?
4 scheduled, but sometimes they'll schedule an early tour for school groups at 9:30. And then today, I don't know, we had that group that we didn't know about, the first part, and we had another group that was supposed to be 70, and we found out this morning it turned out to be 108.
Keeps you busy, huh?
Yeah, and then we had a group last week of 70 that never showed up, never called. And then it turned out we had 4 guides waiting for them. And it turned out they showed up Monday, and there were only 2 guides on duty that day because we weren't expecting a big group. So
Are you working during the game too?
no. I do once in a great while. I do like a special event where I'm with a group of people. I did work during the World Series, but that was they needed extra
How'd they
help.
talk you into that?
Well, several of them didn't want to just because of the crowd and the type of job. It's not what we normally do. We don't normally do with the fans, especially the drinking fans, you know.
A little bit different.
So I volunteered because I could use the extra bucks. And
Finish
did what we
the
got. Well, thanks for coming, folks.
Hey, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amazing tour.
Good luck.
Great job on it.
Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
What'd you think about it, dude?
Very, very good.
Top notch. I like that guy. He's good. Lori, what'd you think about the tour?
Huh?
Good tour?
Yeah, I like.
J-Boy,
What?
good tour?
Yes.